Welcome to the 17th episode of Mindshift. As some of you know, Mindshift is my video series where I help you to see the world, yourself, and other people a little bit differently so that you can impact the world in a bigger way, you can live with more joy, and of course, on top of that, make some more money. Today's mind shifter, I'm going to introduce her by just reading what she shared with me because I'm not sure I can 100% manifest that in front of you. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to read it. In a world where individuals are struggling to feel a strong sense of direction on their journey to success, Kristel Kayser uses her intuition and extraordinary perception to help her clients identify their next best steps towards success in business. Kristel is an intuitive advisor for entrepreneurs with over 4,000 private client contact hours. She has helped clients to tenfold the value of their service and increase their income by advising them on how to create an attractive service based on the full scope of their knowledge and abilities. In this interview, what we're going to focus is actually to help you realize how to use intuition and higher perspective to experience a deeper sense of certainty and direction towards success and financial freedom. So, welcome, Kristel, and I'm really so delighted that you're here.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you very much. I've done some coaching with you. You have coached me several times, and we had this peer-to-peer coaching together. And one of the things which I realized with you is that you really have this very deep sense of knowing, which it was not based on some rational thinking. It was not based on logic, but this was based on something else. So the answer, you're going to give the answers, but today, the talk we have is going to be around this thing you call intuition. So I'm going to ask you first, and I think everyone who is listening here is so interested to answer this question. This question is will be twofold. First, what is intuition? And second, where does intuition come from? So can you share your knowledge on that?
So beautiful. I love these questions. So my view, I think we each get to have our own sense of what intuition is. And I think intuition is very personal. But how I view it, how I personally have experienced it to be, is a higher intelligence that we have the ability to connect with. It's a higher intelligence that is a part of us, that knows answers and that has access to wisdom that our conscious mind doesn't have access to. And of course, it is an intangible aspect of ourselves. And I don't think any truth is truth, but how I experience it is intuition has the higher perspective that we don't have access to with our mind, with our mental intelligence, with our mental energy. And we can use it and we can cultivate it. We can use it to better our lives, to get to where we want to be faster, because typically when we experience that we don't have what we want, we don't see the results that we want, we don't have the life that we truly know deep inside that we are destined to live, it's typically because we're standing in our own way through mental blocks, like you talk a lot about, we stand in our own way because of stories that we've created with our mind. When in reality, if we follow our intuition and we follow that intelligence, that higher intelligence, we will always always be guided to where we're supposed to be, to where we're destined to be, to where we have the potential to be. So to the place where we operate at our highest potential, we can use our intuition to let ourselves be guided to that, and we can cultivate a relationship with our intuition to hear it stronger and stronger and stronger until it is our mode of operandi. It's our way of living. It's through intuition first, and then we use our mind to make the decisions and to take the action. But we start with that higher intelligence, that higher perspective. That's how I see it.
Whoa, beautifully described. Thank you for that. I just wanted to, from what I understood from you, intuition in this car is the connection with the higher intelligence. And this higher intelligence, would you say that this is, some people call it God, other people call it nature, third people call it universe. So what you're saying, just more to clarify, is the intuition is the connection with this thing.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say, yes, I would say personally, for me, it feels that my intuition is my direct access to my higher self, I would say.
Higher
Um,
self is your
my
expression of it.
higher
Okay.
self, the highest expression of me. I get to connect with her through my intuition, but it is also a connection, a direct connection to God for me, and to the universe, and to that higher intelligence that governs nature as well. Yes.
Wow. Yes. So that's the thing, because I think a lot of people try to think of it like to make it logical how you connect to it and what is this thing there, and try to name it. I love your way of expressing it, like higher self, as a way that this is not something outside of you, but it's something which is you in different maybe dimension and frequency than our lower self and everything. So I just want to ask you now, you said intuition is my connection with this thing. So how actually you connect with it? What is this thing which connects you with? What is actually, can you describe me this thing? What it is?
Yeah. So I believe that the expression of our highest potential exists in, it doesn't exist in this physical reality, but it's
Mm,
almost as if the potential exists and it was
mm,
created the moment we were born. There was a highest version of us that also was created, because we can all
mm,
close our eyes and see the highest expression of us. We can see where we want to go. We can see it. So
mm.
I don't have an answer as to why. I
Yeah.
just know that I see my highest potential and I see other people's highest potential. And it's actually how clairvoyance, how we explain, because I also work as a clairvoyant. I use my clairvoyant abilities to see people in their highest expression, their highest potential, to
Wow.
see where they can be. Um, and that's why you and I have had such transformative coaching sessions, because I always see you in your highest. I see where you have the ability, the potential to be and to arrive. And
Mm.
so to me, my intuition in my personal life and in my business is the GPS. It's just showing me the roadmap to get to there.
Okay.
And the reason why we don't go straight there and we
Yeah.
just don't all walk that path towards our highest potential is because of our mind. It's because of conditioning. It is because of
Mm.
all of the things from society that create these layers that take us further from our essence, from that connection, from our intuition. We're not taught to trust our intuition as a valid tool to get to where we want to be. And that's what I hope that my work here does, that it reminds people of the truth that we can trust that as a tool to get to where we want to be. And it's essentially that we trust ourselves, that we trust our inner guidance.
It's a great. I have two interesting questions here. The first one is, can you make some kind of definition of what is clairvoyance? Because I'm not sure a lot of people know about it, and I guess clairvoyance is the way you connect to the intuition. Is the thing it helps you, but it's of course, you're going to explain it a little bit more. And the second one is, as I understood, your intuition show you where is the potential, the potential itself, and I guess and the mind patterns, they stay on the way of this to achieve the potential. And is it that you help people, first of all, to see it, and second of all, to clear these mind things? These are the two things I want you to a little bit elaborate more.
Okay, absolutely. So clairvoyance is a mode to connect. It's a tool that I use to connect with people's potential. And clairvoyance, in clairvoyance, you receive pictures. So it's almost like if I close my eyes, it's like remembering a movie that I watched. So as a clairvoyant, I receive pictures, I receive messages from what I believe is the person that I'm sitting in front, their higher potential, their higher self. So they don't have access to the information from their higher self. So I receive it in pictures, and I get to be the channel, the translator, the medium to interpret the pictures and the messages that I receive, because that's how I receive. And it makes sense because I'm a very visual person. I've always been a very visual person. So it makes sense that I get to interpret through images. Other people here receive like audio messages. Other people sense. I also sense very, very strongly. It's called claircognizance, when you just know. So there's different ways for us all to receive messages from our higher self, and I get them in pictures. And to answer your other question,
just before you answer it, I just want to ask you, as I understood, just to clarify, this thing you say clairvoyance is generally the intuition. This is it's the tool towards the intuition, just to clarify that.
Yeah, it is a way for me to connect with, intuition is also a tool. So I talk about intuition because most people can absolutely access and cultivate a relationship with their intuition. It's the next step after that to express and cultivate and activate your psychic abilities and really trust the psychic abilities. I would say it's the next step after understanding your own intuition. It would be that people would be able to receive messages in even clearer ways, because a picture is a very clear message. Intuition is a little bit more subtle. So first we learn to cultivate that to understand the subtle messages, and then we open ourselves to receive even clearer messages. But it starts with trusting the subtle messages.
The difference is that this is like a next step. The psychic abilities, you say, are the next step of intuition. And intuition itself is just kind of like feeling in the body. Is that what you?
So intuition intuition speaks to us in different ways. And to me, my intuition speaks in my solar plexus. I feel it. Or it's just a knowing. It's just, when you just know things and you can't explain how. I think a lot of people that I've spoken with, I would say those are the two main ways for people to hear the messages from their intuition. And so you have to learn to interpret the messages on how your intuition speaks to you. because psychic abilities is next level, where you get really concise, clear answers and clear direction. But the step before that is perhaps to understand the yes and the no. You
Okay.
ask your intuition yes, no questions instead of
Yeah.
asking how questions. That's next level. But
Uh,
everyone has the potential to get there. But if you want to cultivate your relationship with your intuition, start with yes, no questions and understand how your intuition speaks to you. um, is a no is a contraction in your solar plexus. And the thing is, most people feel that. Like, I think most people who will watch this know how it feels to get that knot in their stomach, or to feel an expansive energy with something, and it feels like a yes, and you don't know why, you just know you have to do it. um,
mm,
so the challenge, actually, the work is in learning to notice those signals and honor them, and not
oh,
dismiss them. A lot of people, we just dismiss it. We're like, well, it feels right, but I'm not sure. And then they go straight to their mind, but there's this and there's that and this, and there's all of these reasons why it doesn't make sense. And then we get caught up in what the mind is telling us, instead of trusting what our intuition initially said was right for us. And your intuition will never ever lead you in the wrong direction. Never. Never. You can trust it.
so you say that the intuition mainly there are two ways, like the one way is in the solar plexus and the other way is just Um, uh, I'm I'm very curious here. What is the difference? Because I think we get confused sometimes between emotion, pure emotion, and intuition. Can you give me the difference between these two? Because sometimes maybe you can feel fear when you talk about in your gut or something.
I love this question. So a yes feels expansive and it feels exciting, and you can always trust excitement. Always. You can always trust joy, curiosity, pure excitement, thrill. You can trust that. You can it is safe. It is safe for you to follow those positive emotions always. When
Mm,
it comes to fear, fear is tricky, and fear will trick us. So I love this question. This is really, really important. So when we sense into our solar plexus, and maybe the initial reaction is fear, intuition speaks to us instant by instant, like in a moment to moment way. In a moment to moment way. So presence, being present, is extremely important. So when you observe that initial gut feeling and it's a no, or it's a contraction and it feels scary, in that moment, it is your responsibility to
mm,
ask yourself, is this fear my intuition, or is this fear a trauma response, or something in me that is afraid to repeat a past mistake? So
mm,
fear, we have to understand our fears in order to let our intuition guide us in the right direction. When you
mm.
understand your fear, the whole world is available for you. The sky is the limit when you understand where your fear is coming from and what it's trying to protect you from. If you can do the work and understand that this fear, you question it. And this is work I do with my clients, by the way. This is
Mm.
not always easy to do at the beginning, but it is something you practice and you get better at. But you observe the fear. You don't just accept it when the intuition is when the gut feeling is reacting negatively. You ask it, why is this
Mm.
fear coming up? Is it because I had an experience that I don't want to repeat? Because our subconscious mind, by the way, our nervous system and our subconscious stores information, especially from negative experiences, from uncomfortable experiences.
Yeah.
The information is stored for future reference. So when a situation when your subconscious mind believes that a situation looks like, is similar to a situation that happened before that was uncomfortable, it's going to pull up the data and be like, remember this, remember this, remember this, this is dangerous, this is dangerous, this is dangerous. So it's our responsibility to observe the fear. Now, this is work, this is deep, deep inner work. If there is no logical reason why the fear is there, and you know you've observed it, and you know that there's no reason why this is something you should feel any resistance towards, then you can trust that your intuition is saying, no, not yet. Just wait a little bit. Maybe it might not be a full no. It might just be, no, wait a little bit. There's more information that you don't have access to just yet that you need in order to make this decision.
I love this explanation. It was really concise. I mean, you explained here, between no and fear, because fear is the most certain no reaction emotion in the body. But what about the other one? What about yes and some emotional response which is coming? Is the same thing? Is it the same thing you described for fear?
No, so you know what? In my opinion, in my experience, we can trust the positive emotions. We can
always
trust them. Yeah.
Okay. So that's so when it's positive, you just trust it. When it's like, get it, I want it, it's perfect, go with it. But when it comes to fear, you just have to find out which is the reason and why, and then you go with it. Wow. So great. That's a great way of saying it. And then we're going to come back to the question I asked you about that you help people to see the place they are, their potential. With the intuition, they connect with it and feel, I guess, the steps they have to take and what they should do about it. But then you said that there's these mental blocks and frames you have in our mind, and they stay generally on the way to following the intuition. Is that what actually is the truth here? The truth, we said that everything is truth or not, but the way you see it.
So I think what you're asking is, yes. So the reason why we're not going straight to our fullest potential and our desired life is because we have certain stories attached to what we believe is available for us. And that's not based on truth. That is based on perhaps what other people have told us is possible for us at this stage in life, or our own self-doubts, our own maybe self-worth and self-confidence, which there could be many reasons for those things. But we're the ones standing in our own way, typically. And our view of what is possible is limited, no matter who we are. This is why I will always have a job. Like, no matter how refined your intuition gets, our view of ourselves and what's possible for us will always be limited because of our own conditioning and because of our ego. Our ego will never truly let us see the whole scope of what's available for us, and that takes an external set of eyes. So I would say our ego is probably the biggest reason why we don't see our fullest potential, and we need a little bit of help with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you say ego, ego is a very common expression nowadays. A lot of people talk about it. And I guess a lot of people some people say ego is necessary in life. Some people say ego stays on our way. Can you tell me your opinion on that and why ego is the reason to stay on the way?
Yeah. Ego is identity. It's our identity. So whenever something is threatening our sense of identity, even if it's the promise of something better, our ego is very attached to who we are. So that's how I see ego. It's our identity, and it will do what it takes to protect its current identity. So that's what I mean by ego will not be this is not the part of us that dreams big. Typically it's our soul. It's it's our spiritual selves that know what's available and possible for us. Our ego prefers to just stay like who we are, to just stay as who we are. And that's what I mean by ego will be pulling up all of the data from past uncomfortable experiences. That's our subconscious saying, hey, don't do this. Remember, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Wow.
That's how I see ego. That's truly how I see ego. So it's not bad. It's not good. It's just who we are. And we're here. I deeply do believe that we're here to live a human experience, and ego is a part of that, and it's part of the work that we're here to do and the challenge that we're here to overcome. It's part of the biggest lesson for us here. It's to stay connected to the divine in us, to that bigger part of ourselves in spite of ego.
So actually, what I can hear from you in this direction, and I always want to clarify, and this is actually my opinion too, that ego is something, I guess, it's okay to have it in life. It's, I think, also necessary in life in a way to help us survive. But it's a tool. It's a kind of something we can use in life in order to achieve our higher greatness. And is that also your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think we are here to live a human experience, and we are supposed to have ego. I mean, but I think we can learn to operate more from a place of spirit and soul and less from ego, because ego will always have an ulterior motive. And we don't really know what that is. It can be a self-sabotaging ulterior motive. But if you learn to operate from your soul, from your intuition, your ulterior motive will always be potential, love, infinite possibility. So I would say let's move. I would always advise us to move from ego to soul, but we can use ego as a tool, yes, but to actually operate and take the action. But spirit and the soul part of us can also take very aligned action. So I would probably say you learn to move from one aspect of us to the other.
So when you say soul and spirit, you mean about the higher self, I guess.
Yeah, I say that's our intuition. That is our purpose, our soul's purpose here on planet. We are souls incarnated in human bodies. That's how I see it. So, yeah.
It's lovely. And before we go, I just wanted to ask you some 2-3 more questions, which can be a little bit clarifying for people, and maybe helping people to start on the journey of tapping to their intuition. And it's again twofold question. You can answer it the way you want. It's first of all, is there a tool you use to tap in your intuition, like the best tool? And the second one is a first step for people to tap into the intuition, so they can be together. Just how people can start this journey with something simple.
Okay. Presence, because intuition speaks in divine timing. So it will be now. Intuition will speak to you now and now and now. So presence. So eliminating distractions, I would say less social media, less consumption, a little bit more stillness, more nature, anything that makes you arrive and be present in your body, because intuition will begin by speaking through our bodies always. So whatever makes you feel connected to your body, it can be movement, dancing. So I think that's a good place to start. There are more advanced techniques that I teach, but it's a good place to start. And then you asked about the tool, and then what was your other question?
The other one was a simple first step, but I guess this is there together. It's the same question for you in the way that the answer could be the same, I guess.
Yeah.
So the last 2 questions, which I always ask everyone who's coming here, are the questions which, again, you can just answer the way you feel your intuition is guiding you. So the first one is, what what is the thing you are willing to give abundantly in the world? And the second one is, what is the thing you really are willing to receive abundantly from the world?
You know, the first one feels like clarity. I want to
Mhm.
give the world clarity, because when people have clarity, they are unstoppable. And an unstoppable human creates positive change in the world. And then the other one is love, 100%. I'm willing and able to receive an abundant amount of love.
Yes, thank you very much, Kristel, for being here and being this loving, clear presence in Mindshift today. I'm sure that people will be really grateful and astonished that you are here, and they're going to listen this interview today. Just before we go, I would like to ask you, where is the place people can look for you and connect to you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I loved this conversation. This is something I could talk about for weeks.
Yeah,
We could do a whole summit on this.
let's do that.
Yeah, and then I'm available and present on Facebook. You know, it's my, I don't know how it became my favorite place to be, but it is, and under my name. So or my email, which is kristel@kristelkayser.com. So because I would say message me, don't send a friend request. Message me if you're interested in learning more about this. I am so I would love to send you any resources that could help you on this journey. So don't hesitate to reach out, and even let me know how this interview, how the content today landed for you. I love to hear from people who get insights from what I share.
Thank you, Kristel. Thank you for being here again. I'm super grateful to have you. And let's say that this is just the beginning. We're going to have more conversations and retreats and everything else we want to help people get more clarity in life. Thank you for
Yes.
that.
Let's do it.
So, guys, we had today the amazing Kristel Kayser, and she shared with us what is intuition and how actually we can tap to our intuition, how we can clear the mental blocks, and how actually we can start with getting connected to our higher self, like she said. If you want to connect to her, you are going to have all the links she shared after this video, and you can go and look to her. I'm definitely sure that she can help you with, if you need more clarity, if you need to connect your intuition, and it's important for you to have the life you want to live. Have a great time, and talk to you next time.